inclusion currently has become a buzzword and highly marketed and promoted in schools and corporates. Do you really think this is getting transformed and implemented at a country level, institutional level, and a corporate level?
I would really like to thank His Highness Sheikh Mohammed, because Dubai inclusion policy for the schools was introduced in 2017 with a vision that each and every school would have students with determination. I think when the leadership believes in it, when your principals, your vice principals, senior leaders, changes actually happen. So you need to teach the students of determination with the life skills and functional skills. I think the first thing which is taught to us, or when we practice, working with neurodiverse children or students, is there is no word like normal.
How is Incluvision different from other corporate well-being programs? India, UK, or Dubai, where do you see the biggest gap in inclusion?
That's a challenging one.
In a world chasing success, we chose to slow down, listen, and re-engineer from within. After 2 documentaries and 40 plus powerful stories that moved hearts worldwide, this is the Re-Engineered Club. Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Re-Engineer podcast. Myself, Madhusmita Nayak, your host. And from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you to all of you for supporting and loving our channel. And it's a humble request to all the audience looking at our show, listening to our show. Please like, share, and subscribe this channel to your loved ones, especially to those who are in the journey of re-engineering and transformation. Today, we have a very exceptional guest. She is a true game changer and actually a strong advocate for the students of determination. She has more than 15 years of experience in promoting inclusion, talking inclusion, and actually now re-engineering inclusion. She has shared her inclusion experience in UK, India, and UAE. Now, she had started her entrepreneurial journey, promoting inclusion and actually making it happen in the ground level. So without further ado, I will love you to welcome our exceptional guest today, Pallavi Malik, who is a role model and playing a big role in actually having inclusion beyond boardrooms, beyond classrooms. Pallavi, a grand welcome to our show and really happy to have you.
Thank you so much, and I'm really happy to be here.
You are really doing a great social impact, and to start off, inclusion is a buzzword these days. But to start from the basics, and before we deep dive into what are you doing and how you are promoting, let's start. What is the basic definition of inclusion?
To me, the basic definition of inclusion is not a label. It's not something, it's not a CSR approach. It's something you live with. I did my master's in inclusion almost 12 years back. At that time, nobody knew what neurodiversity is and nobody knew what special education is. This is something which I believe in, and it's something you live with it. So that is what I believe in inclusion. It's about removing barriers in our daily lives.
As you said, like you studied inclusion 12 years back, and that point of time, it was such a new concept itself. And why you thought of doing or making your career a life dedicated towards inclusion?
So at the core, I am somebody who's a seeker and a nurturer. And I believe in making changes in life. And when I was very young, I was associated with children. I did my psychology, and that is how I landed up in special education. And I went, and this was when I was just 18 years old, and I had so many students in front of me. And I just thought that's my calling, just working with them, loving them, and just making the day, just removing the barriers and making them approachable and having a successful life at the end of the day.
And when was that turning point? Like when you decided, yes, this is a calling and I should pursue that, and now you have made it a living?
To be honest, this was when I had just finished my psychology honors. and I started doing my PG diploma in special education in Delhi. And I started working at the grassroots level at the NGOs, and we also used to visit in the villages of India. And then I decided that I would pursue one more master's, and I got the scholarship and went to the UK. And that's when I started that this is my passion, and I will strongly advocate inclusion and work for the children at the root level.
You mentioned that you went to NGOs and you saw different kind of children and their upbringing and all that. So any particular moment that actually turned your mindset?
Yes, and I mean, it seems like it's been ages, but I still have that moment. This was because when we had to get the degree, we had to go in the in the villages and do the practical stuff. So this was one of the houses which I visited. There was a student with hydrocephalus. When you say hydrocephalus, the head is really huge.
Okay.
And because at the time of delivery, the fluid in the brain, it passes and the head becomes really huge. And we see like in the cities and all that, students are, or the families are taking them to the hospital. But here there was this family who had created and managed to make things out to help their own son in the house. So it was they didn't even have the financial stability, but little things like they had made a chair out on their own with the woods. The mum had made like a small table so he could feed himself. And so that was a big shift that if this person can do it, we if I have the qualification, if I have the understanding of special education and neurodiversity, I need to do more and advocate this in the community.
Such a beautiful story, like, where we grieve with so much of ample resources that we have, and we always take things granted, like with whatever skills we have, and we always want more and more and more. But this story, what you just mentioned, is like with limited resources, limited exposure, still the family supported. And what was the name of the child?
It was Arjun, actually.
Okay.
And I mean, these days we talk about innovation. It's a buzzword, innovation. But at that moment, I could see innovation is what you can do out of whatever resources you have. You don't need to, you don't need to be a rock star, or it doesn't need to be rocket science. You can do from the same situation.
So this was at which place?
This was in Haryana. So I'm originally from Delhi, and we had to go in the interiors of Haryana, in the district of Ballabgarh, and go to different villages, meet the students at the grassroots level, make a plan, manage how to do it. And without doing that, I would not get my degree.
Yeah. So that was the outcome that you got. If you see, inclusion currently has become a buzzword and highly marketed and promoted in schools, in corporates. Do you really think this is getting transformed and implemented at a country level, institutional level, and a corporate level?
So I have been in Dubai since 2013, and I would really like to thank His Highness Sheikh Mohammed, because Dubai inclusion policy for the schools was introduced in 2017 with a vision that each and every school would have students with determination. So yes, in terms of schools, everybody has to follow the Dubai inclusion policy. Some of the mid-market schools, they do a wonderful job where they live and they believe in removing barriers. However, some of the premium schools is just, I think, a tick box and just a marketing thing on their pamphlets and flyers. So yeah, there are pros and cons about it. Some of the schools, they are doing a wonderful job. The other schools, they are working on it.
They're in progress and striving towards that. And as you correctly said, the policy itself is very well practiced. And any of the beautiful or best practices that you yourself have witnessed when you're working for schools?
I think I have worked in so many schools and almost all curriculums. I think when the leadership believes in it, when your principals, your vice principals, senior leaders, changes actually happen.
So it's always top to bottom,
it's
right?
always,
Drill down,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah, it's always top to bottom.
So there are schools or there are corporates where it is practiced at the top, and that message comes from the top and it is practiced. But any unique practice or directive you have seen, and that is done in UAE, and that was also done in UK and back in India?
I think in terms of functional curriculum, making students equipped with the skills for the life out there, because when you're in a school, it's a protective environment, but the world out there is not protective, it's harsh. So you need to teach the students of determination with the life skills and functional skills. I think with the Dubai inclusion policy post 16, that has been, an agenda for every school, and a lot of functional skills program like the ASDAN program, those have been introduced in schools. So with the vision, I think a lot of schools are doing that.
This is brilliant. But what about when schools, like they are completing their schools and then they are getting into environment, as you correctly said, that they are not protected, and suddenly they are out of that protective zone and they go to a country or to a place where inclusion is not practiced. So how they can cope up, or how the parents can support the students?
This conversation needs to be done when the students are becoming, in their process of becoming a teenager, or they're shifting from primary to secondary in school. I think that's the point when, realistic targets or realistic achievements and the vision should be shared with parents, that it's not about just academics, because at the end of the day, that's just a paper, right? Even for us, like, we to survive out there, we need the soft skills, no matter where we have studied from.
Technical skills.
Technical skills. So if you have to be successful, you need to have those soft skills, you need to have those functional skills. So I think at that time when they are becoming a teenager, and that the child will be passing out in 5 or 6 years, that's the right time to discuss, is he or she be going to what pathway, alternative pathways, or going to the university. And that realistic talk needs to be done with the parents and equipping them the skills so they survive out there.
Yeah. And if the audience who are listening to us today, especially for the parents of students of determination, any 3 tips or any 3 as advice that you want to tell them, that there are this top 3 things you need to do before your school student, or before your kid is getting out of school and getting into university, or going abroad, or starting any of their venture by themselves?
The first tip which I want to tell parents is, have that connection with your child. At the end of the day, it's not about you and me, it's about the child at the heart. So you should know their strengths and challenges and work on that. If it's not about your dream, if you want the child to get into maybe XYZ university, but the child at the end of the day wants to be an entrepreneur and do something as their passion, support them. The second thing would be, have those realistic conversations with the team in the school or at the center, and work with the multidisciplinary team, because they are the subject specialists. They would guide you that what needs to be done in the future to have the right skills. The third skill would be, take them out, because some of the parents, when you're denial, or when, it's a taboo and you feel that the label is there, and when you go out there, you feel that the world out there is judging you, or the society is being judgmental. It's important to go with your child out there, explore different countries, explore the public transport, because at the end of the day, that's the real world. You need to be there, and the child needs to be working as an individual over there.
I think brilliant tips. And as you said, the last point especially, parents not trying to accept the fact, right? Because yes, it's easy to say, difficult to manage, and parents, they don't like this labeling because society sees them like that. So anything as a society, we should also take care by not seeing them in a different angle.
To be honest, it's hard, right? You and me, we are both parents. It's hard. It's not easy, and it takes time. It's a process. When a child is being diagnosed, or you get to know that my child has any neurodevelopmental difficulty, it's hard. But the tip would be, to support and manage it in the right way. That's the main thing. You don't have to think about the labels. At the end of the day, it's your child, and you want to do the best for your child. And I say this to every parent, we have to manage it in the right way. Forget the diagnosis or the label. When you go to a doctor, the doctor would say you have this, right?
Yeah,
but
true.
at the end you need to manage it with the right supplements or right lifestyle. And that's what is the same process for this as well.
Yeah, and now these days, if you see with government support, with the ecosystem and infrastructure support, I could see inclusion is a differentiator. It's never now a weakness; it's a strength. And these days, when you see, like, I have seen kids with such kind of some kind of determination or some kind of neurodiversity problems or neurological problem, they have a special skill which we as a parent we can identify that and leverage those potential and try to build the capability on that. Have you seen certain kind of talents in UAE or abroad, like, which you have witnessed?
I mean, I always advocate that, you always need to look at the strengths and work on your areas of development. I've had number of students who've had, either dyslexia or autism, but, the other side, one of my students who had dyslexia, he was a brilliant artist and gifted in talent. He got the scholarship for Al Jalila as well. And he used to paint like almost murals and walls, and so we need to look at the strengths. And there's one of my other students as well. He has just started his t-shirt business as well. So yeah, I mean, you just look at the strengths. It's about looking at strengths and working on it, and making your life successful out of your strengths.
Beautiful. And how proud you feel being a teacher of such big talents and you see them progressing and having their own entrepreneurial journey.
I think, being an educator, if you ask any educator, when your students thrive and they are independent and successful, it's a proud moment for us. Especially as a special educator, I have been working since, oh my God, I sound old now, but I've been working since 2008.
That doesn't reflect your age.
Thank you. But, the other day, one of my students, he's become a graphic designer, and I started teaching him in India when he was just 8 years old. And
wow.
Yeah, so you feel proud that it's been a journey, it's been a process, and at the end it is I think you feel so accomplished. That's the real happiness.
Yeah.
You feel, because I think happiness is when you are having a purpose in life
and seeing that happening and witnessing the entire journey.
Journey, and seeing the outcome of the purpose you had in mind, and it's actually showing as the outcome.
And how they show gratitude towards you?
Well, I strongly believe in gratitude, but just I think just wishing me on my birthday or just remembering me on Teachers' Day is gratitude in itself. I understand, when the students have become an adult, slowly, they have their different journeys. But like the other day, one of my students, she went to university in the UK. And on Teachers' Day, she just missed me. She just messaged me that, Miss Mallick, you're the best teacher I had. And she was just sharing her journey in a university. It was quite brave of her to go on her own. So I think that just makes your day, So I just love it when students get back to me or message me. That just makes my day.
That's the winning spot for you, yeah?
Yeah.
And when you train students, and how about parents? Do you also get engaged with the parents and also help them in getting through the journey?
Of course, because I always say it's a teamwork. And parents are their first teacher. So parents have to be on board. It's a journey, it's a process. Like we discussed earlier, when they are in denial, it takes, a lot of conversations, sometimes very challenging conversations, to make them understand about what the need is, and then guiding them, how to support your child. Because for us as educators, we are just meeting them for like 6 to 8 hours or 10 hours in the school. The parents have to live with their own child.
And it's a lifelong.
It's a lifelong. So I always believe that they have to have the skills. They have to have the right skills to manage in the long run and, live with it. So it's a mind shifting, it's not easy. It's not a one-day task. It's a journey. It's a process.
And how ecosystem plays a big role. Like, one is teacher, one is the student, and then the parents. How about other factors like society and society in general? So how ecosystem plays a role in upbringing the special kids?
Well, they say, right, that it takes a village to raise the children. I think it's really important, especially because for for the parents, the main thing is, that if I go to this birthday party and there are, the other friends and families, how will they look upon it? I think from where I started, awareness has become so much now in the society. People are aware, people are advocating, so it's become easier. But I always say early intervention is the key. Those 7 years of your life when the child is growing, that's really important. So early identification. These days, especially after COVID, we had so many like speech delays and communication because people, we didn't interact, or the students are glued to the screen, like children are glued to the screen. So early intervention is the key. So having that, looking at the multidisciplinary team, going and meeting the pediatrician, if there's a speech delay, going to the speech therapist, occupational therapist, special educator. So you really need to identify, and then initially that's the journey. So when the team supports, you have the knowledge. A child who's identified at the age of 3 and someone who's identified at the age of 10 would have a different journey, because when you're starting young, you're able to identify
the treatment.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, so the journey is different. I think the major challenge or barrier is when companies or any organization are just looking at it as a tick box. For me, inclusion is that we don't stop at one classroom or one office, we take it to the community. Being an Indian woman, we don't take care of our own well-being. For us, we come at the last. I always say that there's an acronym that I use. I say it KISS, keep it simple and smile, and don't complicate it.
We as a parents identify and accept it. Better is the treatment or better is the learning process. Like for me and my husband, like my son was also diagnosed with speech delay. So even though I have family of doctors, my dad is a doctor, and he was the one who identified like, yeah, my son is not speaking at age of 3, or only he's using words and he's not making proper sentence. And I got a call from the school. He was in grade 1 or the KG1. And they said that, yes, we think that he's having delay in speech and it's better. I was in office, I will not lie. The first call, it took me, I was shocked. Like, because I was being 3 years with me, but I was not able to witness that. Whereas my father, when we used to go for vacation, and he identified that and he told me. But same thing as a parent, neither me nor my husband could see that, okay, there is something, because we say that, okay, it's okay. Like, this is normal.
Yeah.
So, but we took that step, one step. I don't know, how I was feeling and how our husband was feeling that a point of time when we went to a institution, and we were just praying that, okay, the result should not be coming as I have a special child. Like, I have gone through that journey, but by God's grace, everything is okay. So it was a speech delay. And 6 months, it was like they gave the technique, and it was not only him, it was the full family. We were heavily involved, and we were also trained practices, and starting from simple diet tips was also given, apart from speech therapy.
Yeah.
So it really plays a big role, where the entire the value chain, or the person who are been surrounding that child plays a big role. But that first 3 things or symptoms, what parents should be aware of during age of 2 to 3 or 2 to 4, what are 3 things that parents should be aware of? Like, I was not aware of, that's why I overlooked. Similarly, what tip you can give, or what is a certain hacks to see that, yes, it is not normal, let's try to get it done, or try to visit specialists and doctors and to get it diagnosed?
I think the answer to this would be because there are various, various factors for various neurodevelopmental difficulties. But the first thing would be, looking at the milestones. That is very important when you're going to a pediatrician. And, as parents also, we know that if the child is not speaking after 2 years or 3 years, there is a delay. So I think milestones first would be the milestone. It is really important to look at the milestone. I'm not saying that, become
overwhelmed, but yes,
overwhelmed
be
or
aware.
overexcited these days parents are, because we have
I
our
think there are two categories.
yeah,
One, too complacent,
yeah,
because I was a new parent, like we were new parents, so
yeah.
not knowing. Maybe for the second one, you become more
And
experienced,
these
huh?
days there's over information on social media. There are reels and there's Google, and you become
Chat GPT.
chat GPT, and you become everybody is like an expert. So I always say that don't do trial and error. You trust the expert. If you
Yeah.
go to the pediatrician, go to the doctors, go to the experts. Don't just jump to conclusions on your own. Second would be, I feel, and I don't blame, it's the system. I don't blame the system, because these days we are in nuclear families, as husbands and wife, we are working, and when we come back, we don't have the energy. But it's very important to have those rituals with your child in the morning, just in the morning, brush the even brush together, or just make the child ready. When you come back, talk to your children. I think those rituals are important. When you have that connection, you would know. So I always say connection before correction. So when you have the connection, you will know there's something amiss, because as parents, your intuition is there. So have those rituals, however small, but do have those rituals.
Daily small rituals.
Daily small rituals. Third would be, just trust the process. Like I said earlier, like we have become too loud, and we just jump to conclusion. Even if we have two, your two children. Like for me now, my elder daughter, she started walking at 9 months. Now my little one is standing but not talking. So just don't become over anxious. Sometimes just trust the process. You would know the milestones when you go to the doctor, but let it be, give that freedom. Don't just become over helicopter mom or helicopter dad, and just so trust the process, enjoy the parenthood, enjoy that journey, and
And trust the experts
and trust the
also.
experts, and then I'm sure it's a beautiful journey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think amazing three tips like milestone, daily rituals, and trust the process, trust the expert, and I think outcome will come.
Yes.
Like the same thing for my son also, it took almost 1 year. And as you correctly said, nuclear family and all this actually impact. So for me, I am from Odisha, my husband is from Andhra Pradesh, and I had a maid from Sri Lanka. So the doctor found out the root cause, that it is your home only there is a problem. So the child is getting
Confused with
and not able to speak. So you make a point that you have one common language at home.
Yeah.
And not only me, even our nanny, we all made a joint effort, and it was one of the proud moment for me, like when he became 5 and he sang in Al Wasl in Expo 2020. Brilliant experience, and we got goosebumps. Like if it has not been corrected and not been addressed, so they only suggested, like apart from the speech therapy, if he likes music, put him in music class. So we took him to the Trinity London School, and then he started singing. That's how his rapid moment in speaking happened. So I think we should trust the experts, and once we identify, we just have to believe them.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I think experts like you actually are the eye openers for us, like parents who are actually going through a lot of emotional trauma when somebody says that your child is not normal. And have you ever faced like this situation in your 15 years of experience?
Of course, I think the first thing which is taught to us, or when we practice, working with neurodiverse children or students, is there is no word like normal. Because like you can see in the movie by, in the new movie by Sitare Zameen Par, Sabka Apna Apna Normal Hota Hai, that something which is normal to you may not be normal to me. So I think changing the vocabulary as well is important. Earlier, in my initial days as a special educator, and it depends from society and country to country, because the cultural background and so many things that differ. So yes, people would say, like sometimes when I was working as an educator, the mainstream teachers would come and say, Miss Mallick, this child is not normal and he needs a checkup. And I'm like, no, he doesn't need a checkup. You, first of all, and this is you when you say the philosophy of special education or inclusion, there are two ways to see it. This is medical model and social model. So medical model is, it's we don't practice it because that looks at the diagnostic part and the label. The social model, which I believe in, is removing the barriers. So it's not the label, it's not, it's not the child. How do we make the environment and adjust the environment to meet the need of the child? And that is when the teachers used to come and say this is not normal or that is not normal. I would say no, we need to find a solution, and that's what I believe in, that we have to be solution focused. Let's just all think about what is best for the child. Again, not you and me, it's the child.
It's the child, because ultimately we have to see for him or her development. And when they use checkup, what do you reply? What should be the ideal conversation or the statement?
The ideal conversation, I mean, obviously, the awareness and the mindset. That's why training is very important. Regular awareness about, and these days we are, there's a lot of awareness and trainings happen in school as well. But again, like I said, it's not we have to use the terminology very carefully. Instead of saying, how do I say, if you, instead of saying a problem, you would say a challenge.
Okay.
Instead of saying,
Checkup, what we can use?
Checkup, we would say like the support system.
Okay.
And, let's find a support, or let's find a solution instead of a checkup. Let's go.
Actually, words play a big role.
It does. It does play a big role. So you have to be. It doesn't come easy. You learn. You learn the hard way.
And
as
we
well.
practice, and it's daily practice. It's not like, okay, it might not be intentional, but because we don't know, we say it.
Yeah.
And how this, like, 15 years long journey, you started at 2008, you mentioned, right?
Yeah. So it's
How it has impacted you as a person? Now you are a mom of two beautiful
yes,
kids.
I'm a mother of two. Actually, it's 17 years. I didn't realize that. I think I would not say you change, you evolve. When I started, the awareness, even you're learning, your awareness is low, you're learning about, sometimes you've studied it, but when you come to practice it, every child is different. So no matter how much, even if I have my double masters, when you have a new child, you learn. And both my daughters have taught me so many things. And I would thank Dubai as well, because in Dubai, the laws are there, the trainings, the schools I have worked, so many things, the community, the parents, my leaders, some of my principals. It's been a wonderful journey. And when you become a mother, I think it just changes your perspective. Earlier when I used to have difficult or challenging conversations, some of the parents would say, you're not a mother, you would not understand. And at that time I used to feel like, how, maybe that, how rude, or this is so harsh. But I actually believe, because once you're mother, when a third person is telling you that something is not right with your child, it hurts.
Yeah.
So, it shifts your perspective. And my elder one has taught me so many things. My little one, completely opposite, has taught me to be resilient.
And how this has changed, your journey accepting inclusion and, promoting inclusion and teaching inclusion has changed you as a perspective of a human being, like how you see world differently.
I think as a human being, I have become more kinder. Anyways, I believe kindness is the greatest gift any human being can have. It is really, and I am a kind heart person.
I can see that.
Yeah. So kindness and someone with a good heart is, I always have a small win for them. That is really important. Your perspective shifts, right? When you're meeting with families and all, you become more flexible. You see from a different perspective. When you learn about so many neurodevelopmental difficulties, you evolve, you learn, you try to. So, I call myself as a lifelong learner, because even if I study about, ADHD or autism, every child is different. So you learn, somebody would be having challenges with executive function, whereas the other student would have a challenge with organization skills. So you
they're
learn.
unique. Yeah.
So I've become a lifelong learner. And third, I have become, I practice gratitude. when you do gratitude for little things, when you're thankful, like I think COVID taught us that,
Yeah.
when just to be alive is like,
Is a gift.
is a gift. And sometimes people blame, each other, or when we have like parents meeting, sometimes the parents are blaming each other, but it's just a gift. Like you have each other support, like, you would not have each other, just work with it. So I think gratitude, I strongly believe in gratitude. I wasn't like that.
But yeah, this is how it changes, and
changes,
you feel happy about what you are doing. And I remember I interviewed Gulshan Gavrana also. She is also a role model in taking this inclusion world to a different level. And her statement was so great. Like when she was telling her journey, she was telling like, yes, when we are doing that, teaching that, promoting that, it is fine. But what I prayed is like not to have a child of my own, and not to have a determined child of her own. And it's beautiful, like, and she has one. So she was mentioning that, and that's how it is so important. And to see that, okay, when you are in this journey, how you showcase that gratitude, and be happy with what tiny things you have in your scope or you have in your hand. Like we always have that craving of doing more, getting more, but not seeing what already we have and enjoy that.
Yeah, I mean, in this rat race, we are always like trying to, more money, more this, more
Luxury,
that, more
yes.
luxury. But I think we should be thankful for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, even little things like, if we didn't have the Wi-Fi, how would we look at the reels?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And now coming to your beautiful entrepreneurship journey that you have started with your entrepreneurship journey and taking inclusion as the core theme of your business. Talk me more about it, and what is your mission and what you want to achieve.
See, my entrepreneurship, it's called Incluvision, and Incluvision with a W-V. So for me, the V part is really important because I want to build a community, and V also stands for well-being. Because with inclusion, well-being goes hand in hand. And I realized after being a mother and also meeting mothers, when you're meeting parents, you have the child and everything. But at the end of the day, the mothers are doing so much. So the well-being part is, and I'm an advocate for well-being for women. The well-being part is so important for us. So inclusion, my vision is, inclusion plus well-being, and it's just not about a space or just a school. It's just about the vision and the community which I want to build at the end of the day.
And in this community, you want to include both the parents, not only mothers.
Yes.
Because fathers, parents play equal role,
Yeah,
and all should be included.
It's the well-being for the father as well, right? Because when I do coaching and when I talk to people, it's sometimes we are not arguing, or because we are mom and dad, or we are a woman and a man. At the end of the day, we are a human being. So when you look deeply, it's the roles. When we have any argument, it's the roles. Any argument which we do, it's a role. If you are fighting as a mom or you're fighting as a father,
Yeah.
you're not fighting, as Pallavi or as,
It's the title that has been given
it
to
is,
you.
yeah, it's the role.
Yeah.
So the well-being part is really important, and that's what I advocate. I advocate mindfulness and well-being, and I'm a certified happiness and well-being coach as well. So that's how I realized that I want to make the world more happier.
You are doing amazing job by including we in your entrepreneurship, which is Incluvision. So for our audience listening to us today, how can they reach you out?
If you would like to contact me, please look at my Instagram handle. It's called Incluvision with W-E. Thank you so much. And for the parents of determination, looking at workplace happiness or neurodiversity at workplace. And also, I'm a strong advocate for women well-being.
Thank you so much, Pallavi. And I think it's amazing that you are including everyone, the community as a whole, to drive this kind inclusion, because without we, it's not possible. But saying that, we have seen the progress. We have seen how we are becoming more focused in diagnosing early, treating early, and then creating a pathway for them. However, Any roadblocks or any gaps still you see in inclusion perspective?
I think the major challenge or barrier is when companies or any organization are just looking at it as a tick box. It shouldn't be a tick box. At the core, we should live with it, because that's what the whole idea about inclusion is. We live together, it's a community. When we are traveling in a bus or you're not having separate sections. So
So for you, you mean to say that we need to have a leadership vision, which needs to be there, and leaders should be starting promoting that.
and continuous professional development. I think trainings are really important. When you train the employees or the staff, they are the ones who are at the ground level, so you're equipping them with the skills. So that's really important. I think regular trainings is the key to build that vision.
And anything parents have to do also, there is a gap, as you already mentioned, early diagnosis and accepting the fact is also important from parents' perspective. Saying that, for example, you mentioned corporates are still struggling with gender diversity. Do you think they are ready for taking inclusion also part of their culture, not policy?
I think some of the corporates are looking at it, but they have done a beautiful job with gender equality and gender, recruitment. Some of the MNCs, they do have that. But in terms of neurodiversity, I think, again, I would try to say that the training is important. It's not like the corporates don't want it, but I think just the right training will have the perspective change, and then they can focus on the recruitment as a whole in looking at the holistic development of the organization.
Perfect. And how you see the future of this in next 5 years? You have already seen the journey for last 17 years, and how you foresee this industry or not industry, this concept going forward, and enhancement innovations that we are going to see for students of determination.
I think world is ready and people are having the awareness. I think in terms of just hand holding and equipping every part of the society with the right skills, I think everybody's open to it. The community, the support. I think we have a bright future for everyone.
Yeah, and I do believe celebrating differences is the beauty. Yeah, so when we have different colors, and as you said, when it is not normal, that's a beauty, right?
Yeah.
And how do you think, or how is Incluvision different from other corporate well-being programs?
For me, Incluvision is that we don't stop at one classroom or one office. We take it to the community and train everybody, equip the right skills, and so for the long term, everybody is confident
And engaged.
and engaged to support neurodiverse children or adults, and also look into the well-being part of the whole community hand in hand.
And what are your next plans for upcoming plans, if you want to share?
I have created this community called Stree Circle, where I advocate well-being for women, especially for us as South Asian or Indian women, because being an Indian woman, we don't take care of our own well-being. For us, we come at the last. We give our priority to our family, our children, our work, and at the end of the day, there is no time for ourselves. So I've created this Stree Circle where women come, and it's a safe space to talk about anything which they like and support the bond of sisterhood and support each other.
Beautiful. And I like the word Stree Circle, right? Stree is the Hindi name or Sanskrit name for woman
Yeah.
in India. And I think, as you really correctly said, we really don't think about ourselves. We give the last priority to ourselves. And good luck. And I hope this will grow and we'll have all the strees of India, and where you advocate them for their well-being too. Before we wind up and we start our rapid fire question, my last question to you will be how you want to re-engineer inclusion.
For me, re-engineering inclusion is that it's not in a box, and we are not just at the classroom door. It has to be a long-term vision and look at it as a holistic development, where I try to go at any corporate, any society, and everybody is aware about what neurodiversity or inclusion means at the core.
Any final message to the audience, especially to the parents of students of determination listening to you right now?
I always say that there's an acronym that I use. I say it KISS, keep it simple and smile, and don't complicate it.
Beautiful. I think let's kiss and make as usual, because we consider this, it's not normal. That's how it looks so complicated.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Let's kiss and hug and have, celebrate these differences. And we as a community also really matters. And what you said, involving community, educating them, and also understanding and trusting the process, very important. And that's how we will see a very inclusive world in near future. We are already done a huge progress, and I think next 5 years there will be rapid change in this aspect. Thank you so much, and it was lovely having you, Pallavi. Any last message or last words?
No, thank you for having me, and I would just like to say, always there to support.
Thank you. And we'll start our rapid fire. It's called Inclusion Unfiltered. One word that defines you at the core.
Lifelong learner.
Perfect. India, UK, or Dubai, where do you see the biggest gap in inclusion?
That's a challenging one. I think India.
Yeah. Because...
The mindset and the cultural taboos which we have.
And the acceptance, okay. One stereotype about students of determination you would ban forever.
Just the label. Just don't look at the label. See the able and not the label.
Brilliant. That's very nice. See the able, not the disabled. Classroom or boardroom, where is inclusion harder?
That's again a tricky one. I think classroom.
It's harder?
It's harder.
Okay. One thing parents need to stop doing right now.
Overthinking making Google the doctor.
I like that. Even I also do that. Whenever I'm going to, I just Google the doctor and see the credentials. Yeah, we should. I don't know, but it's a habit.
Yeah.
One thing teachers need to start doing today.
Just focusing on their time management and giving time to their self, because being an educator, especially I've had burnout as well. So it's really important to give time to yourself. After a teacher, just remember that you're a mother, you're your own individual. So that's really important.
Brilliant. If you had to sum up your mission in 3 words, what would they be?
Empathy, passion, and vision.
So with empathy, passion, and vision, good luck to inclusion and good luck to all the community circles that you are building up. And this mission of yours shows that, yes, world can be different, but if we have the right mission and right vision and right technical skills, soft skills, and intention to make this world beautiful and happier, we are there.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, and it was pleasure having you, Pallavi. And to our audience, if this episode really touches you and it was so emotional and to the point, and we had raw communication on how inclusion is perceived, practiced, and can also be taken to the next level. Keep watching Reengineer Podcast, and if you like this episode, please share to your loved ones, because someone listening to you and this episode can change their life. Till then, thank you so much, and keep watching Reengineering Podcast and keep reengineering your life for better future. Thank you. If this story moved you, don't just scroll. Share it, start a conversation, and subscribe to be part of something that redefines what it means to grow. And if you have an inspiring story, please get in contact with our team, info@reengineeringclub.com.